Laney, there's only one reason you're calling me. She said, you know it. I said, because now y'all can't afford anybody else. So we rolled out to brunch. It was me, Laney Edmiston, Deb Butler, and her partner Annie. And I don't mean her law partner, y'all. It's 2013. We sat down. I ordered a ham biscuit and fruit salad. Laney Edmiston had a big old omelet. Deb Butler housed some French toast, and Annie had pancakes. I said, Deb, I want to know what's important to you, girl. Deb said, not only was Tom Goolsby one of the primary sponsors of the marriage amendment, but he was all up in that woman's right to know. I said, hold on. I said, the one with the transvaginal ultrasound wand? She said, uh-huh. I said, can you get one? She said, I know just who to call. Which is pretty impressive for a Sunday afternoon. Laney Edmiston said, hold on. Are we talking about putting an out gay candidate on television holding something that looks like a dildo? That's a direct quote. Deb Butler said, that's right. I said, I don't even want to do it unless we do that. Then I said the one smart thing I said during the entire election cycle. I said, I think we're going to do something pretty important here. Let's write the press release first. It should grab journalists by the throat, so they have to write about this ad. It ought to say this ad marks the first appearance of a transvaginal ultrasound wand in a political advertisement.
Let's look at this ad from the North Carolina State Senate race.
I'm Deb Butler, and I think we need to have a candid conversation about what Tom Goolsby's policies actually mean to North Carolina women. He wouldn't dare show you this, but this is Goolsby's contribution to women's health. A medically unnecessary, invasive procedure that is now required by state law. He promised us that his first priority would be jobs, but instead he's following you into the doctor's office.
I'm Deb Butler, candidate for NC Senate, and I paid for this ad.
Martha, I don't know if you could see it there, but she was holding up a transvaginal probe, which I guess is the first one I've seen, and it's an awful lot bigger and weirder and stranger looking than I expected it to be, but it's a very effective device in that ad.
So that made some people pretty crazy too. And this is Goolsby's response ad.
I'm Rachel, a yoga teacher, mom, and independent voter. Deb Butler's negative TV ad about Tom Goolsby is disgusting and untrue. He did not vote to require new intrusive medical procedures for women. Deb Butler's false ads can't change all Tom has done to help people, nor can it change his strong character as a husband and a father. I know. He's my husband.
I'm Tom Goolsby, candidate for the state senate, and I'm paying for this ad.
You're just, an independent voter. Oh, wait, you're the guy's wife? Oh, wow. God, thanks for your opinion. It's so valid here. She is absolutely, I know a lot of people won't tell me she's a very nice lady, but he's the biggest turd in the legislature. I mean, he's the worst guy in the state legislature. So we did this.
I'm Deb Butler, and I paid for this ad.
Tom Goolsby voted for this law and said, we want women to understand what they're doing. Senator, I've been a doctor for 40 years. Women know what they're doing. You can lie and accuse others of lying, but I know the truth. Your law tells me what to say to my patients and is more about fear and shame than sound medicine. You're wrong, Senator. The last thing women need is another politician telling them what to do.
Tom Goolsby, the last thing women need. I laughed so hard when I thought that up. So that dude is awesome, right? I mean, among the most awesome dudes ever. He is an OBGYN from Jacksonville. Called the campaign like just straight out of nowhere. It's like, you guys, that probe ad is exactly what people need to hear. Holy when we send you some money, we were like, man, do you want to do something more awesome than that? This is a guy who's been practicing medicine since before Roe v. Wade. He was at UNC in the 60s and remembers when women were dying, you know, co-eds were dying. They'd find fetuses in boxes, you know. I mean, this guy has perspective. Every time we release an ad, Goolsby spent like $80,000 running something else.
I mean, to be fair though, you guys were down, I mean,
20.
I'd say 22.
We were down 22.
And you closed it to what, 9? 8?
We closed it within like 9 to 10 points. This is a campaign that was dumped by the Senate caucus. They lost their TV money. They lost all their broadcast money. The probe ad raised almost $20,000 for them. So, when you are thinking about walking things back, think twice. Because sometimes, I mean, like I said, like Justin just said, we closed it from 22 points, zero name ID, none. Goolsby, like 98, I mean, he had like 90% name ID in Wilmington because he's one of those TV lawyers, right? That's why the guy wins. His name ID is huge. We could never get there. We had to tell people, like, holy smokes, this guy is off, he sucks, he's terrible. Like, he's terrible. We ended up doing 4 ads, and I was like, this is the one we need to run first, we need to run it quick, and we need to run it early so that we can start pulling the money in. And they did. They raised really good money on that. It wasn't $80,000 per pop like Goolsby could drop on us, but that's what the Republican caucus has to drop on us. And I don't know if they targeted Goolsby, but he got money from lots of places. Plus he had his own. I lost all the races I worked on except for June Atkinson's last year. I lose all the time. The only people who hire me are people who are going to hire a massive DC consultancy. But I am the absolute, undisputed king of earned media. Every time I go in to make an ad, I say, I'm not going to waste my time, I'm not going to waste this campaign's time, we are going to make it worth something. And that happens in the design. You figure out what your issue is, you figure out how to bust through. The only thing a lot of us will have in these races where we are going to be outspent for the next, you know, really honestly, we will be outspent in most of these races until we win the legislature back. That's what's happened. The money follows the power. Why are you going to give money to a Democrat whose vote means nothing? So as we move into this new phase where we are down in money, we're going to have to say the right things, and we're going to have to say it in a compelling way. If this ever falls in your lap, you have the ability to do something, realize that it is a privilege to participate in this sector of the media. I don't get to make TV every day of my life. Every time I get to do it, it's like awesome. So do something with it. That's my only message, is do something with it. We are gaining power. People are starting to listen to us. We've got to do something. North Carolina is at its heart a progressive state, not in the classic sense that, you know, democratic progressivism, but we are a state that thinks differently, and the country looks to us for some semblance of hope in the South. So don't blow it. We've got to do something cool. All right, questions?